All right, let's get right into it. Have you ever been watching a movie or reading a book and just felt like you totally get the main character? Like you know exactly what they're feeling? Well, that's not magic. It's actually how stories are built. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the two secret ingredients that make stories so good: perspective and conflict.
But seriously, think about it. Why do we get so invested in people who aren't even real? We cheer for them, we get worried for them, sometimes we even cry for them. The answer is all about how these characters are put together. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll be able to see exactly how the writers pull it off.
Okay, so let's start with secret ingredient number one: perspective. This is all about getting inside a character's head and seeing the world exactly the way they do.
A really good way to think about perspective is to imagine that every character is wearing a special pair of glasses. You know, one character's glasses might make the world look super bright and hopeful. Another character's glasses might make everything seem kind of gray and dangerous. That unique lens, that's their perspective. It's the why behind everything they do and feel. It's what makes them feel like a real person.
And now for our second ingredient, which is basically the engine of every single story you've ever loved. I'm talking about conflict. This is the problem, right? The struggle, the thing that gets in the character's way.
I'm serious. Without conflict, there's literally no story. Imagine your favorite action movie, but the hero's plans all go perfectly, the bad guy can't aim, and nothing ever blows up. How boring would that be? Conflict creates tension and makes us all ask that one important question: what's going to happen next?
Okay, so conflict usually comes in two main flavors. First, you've got external conflict. That's the battle happening on the outside, like trying to survive a storm, facing off against a villain, or even just trying out for the soccer team. Then you have internal conflict, and that's the battle happening on the inside. It's that tug of war you feel in your own head, like wanting to be brave but feeling totally terrified, or having to make a really tough choice when there's no easy answer.
So, we've got our two ingredients, perspective and conflict. But here's where the real magic happens. They don't just exist on their own, they work together. They're kind of like peanut butter and jelly. Pretty good by themselves, but way better when you put them together.
So check this out. A character's perspective, those glasses they're wearing, totally changes how they deal with a problem. A character who thinks the world is a scary place might run from a challenge, but a hopeful character might face it straight on. But then, and this is the cool part, that very same conflict tests their beliefs. And sometimes it forces them to see the world in a totally new way, maybe even making them trade in their old glasses for a new pair.
All this theory is cool, but let's see how it works in an actual story. We're going to look at a quick scene with two characters, Dasha and Ada, to see how all these pieces fit together.
Okay, so we've got Dasha and her little niece, Ada. The sun is going down, they're lost in the woods, and things are definitely not looking good. Dasha tries to sound all happy and cheerful for her niece, but what's going on inside her head tells a very, very different story.
This scene is a perfect example of that combo we were talking about. The external conflict is easy to spot. They're lost in the dark woods. But the internal conflict is what makes it so good. It's the battle inside Dasha's mind between her own fear and exhaustion and her need to be strong for Ada. And what's driving all of that? Her perspective. She sees herself as a responsible, loving aunt who has to be the protector. It all just connects. See how that works?
Okay, so this is great for analyzing stories, but why does any of this actually matter for you in your own life? Well, it turns out that life works a whole lot like a great story.
The reason we connect so hard with these characters is because we live this stuff every single day. Think about it. You might have an external conflict, like a massive test you have to study for, or maybe a disagreement with a friend. But at the exact same time, you're dealing with the internal conflict, feeling super stressed about that test, or feeling hurt by what your friend said. Life is always a mix of both.
So, let's bring this all back to you. What are some of the challenges of growing up? You've got external conflicts like classes getting harder, friendships changing, and having more responsibility. And you've got all the internal conflicts, like trying to figure out who you are, what you really believe in, and how to deal with all the complicated feelings that come with it. It's a messy, brave, and honestly pretty exciting journey. And here's the final takeaway. When you learn how to spot the perspective and conflict in the characters you read about, you're actually building a toolkit to understand yourself. You're learning to see the external and internal challenges in your own life, because ultimately, you are the main character of your own story. And understanding how stories work is a pretty amazing way to start writing your own.